Am I the a-hole for ignoring my mom and refusing to make nice with my stepdad's son, who bullied me throughout our childhood? I was 21 when my mom and stepdad met. My stepdad's son, Harry, was 7. My mom and stepdad dated for 2.5 years before they got married, and we lived together for 9 months before their wedding. Harry hated his dad dating my mom, and he hated me for liking his dad. He was a real a-hole to me. My stepdad always corrected him and tried to keep him from hurting me, but I was miserable. I told my mom how miserable I was, and she told me it'd get better. When I said I didn't want to live with him anymore, she told me we had to because we were a family, and sometimes siblings don't get along the best, and it's okay for us to not be close. To name a few of the things I had to endure while living with Harry: he would spill water on or stain my homework, he broke a model I had finished for a class assignment, and he deleted assignments off the family computer when I finished them. He would shut doors on my feet or hands. He threw dirt at me, specifically my head. He called me a freak of nature all the time. When we went to my stepdad's family members' houses, he'd get his cousins to all gang up on and exclude me. A few of them were still nice to me, but he threatened to leave them out if they spent time with me. He broke my Christmas gifts one year, smashed or ruined them all, and he got into big trouble for that. But he still taunted me that I got nothing. In high school, a teacher we shared took both our classes on an educational field trip, and he tried to get me left behind and sprayed me with water to make it look like I peed my pants. Again, that's just a few things he did. He was open about hating me, and he'd ignore me sometimes just to make a point. Like one time, he hogged the salt because he saw I wanted it, and he refused to give it to me or answer when I asked for it, and he tried to stop my stepdad from giving it to me. Harry would always get his friends to taunt me too. One incident with all of them made me lose a tooth, and as upset and freaked out as my mom was, she still stayed with my stepdad and made me live with Harry. He took a gap year after high school, so I didn't even get the freedom of him leaving for college, and that was another hellish year. I had to do all my homework at friends' houses or the library in case he messed with it. I started pulling away from my mom at around 15, and she noticed and tried to be all loving and sweet to me, but I wasn't okay with her. When I started college, I moved out. I packed all my stuff and refused to go back home. Mom told me not to react like I was, and said Harry didn't even live with them full-time anymore. She also said we were both adults now, and our relationship would improve. I told her I would never spend another second with him, and that did mean I would skip family holidays and such, because there was no way I would agree to be around Harry again. I told her I blocked him everywhere and didn't care what happened, but nothing would make me share the same airspace as him again. My mom tried to act like we were good, but I pulled away more and started ignoring her calls and stuff. I don't go home for holidays. I refuse to attend anything that Harry's going to be at. I went to see my grandparents last week, and Mom showed up to talk to me. She wanted to know why I was ignoring her and not visiting her and my stepdad. I told her she failed me and put her own wishes before me, my safety, and my childhood, and I wasn't going to wipe it away just because my stepdad was good to me. I told her I despise Harry and I don't care if he grows into an amazing person someday. He will never be my family, and I will never let him back into my life. And I told her I won't start acting like we're okay either, because I am so mad at her. She left really upset, and my grandparents talked to me about stuff. Then my uncle texted me and asked what happened between me and Mom, and he told me I can feel how I do about her not protecting me better, but she's still my mom. He also told me I lose out by refusing to make nice with Harry and be there for family holidays. I told him the holidays I have now are better than all the ones with Harry in them combined. I said I did not feel like I was missing out at all. He said it's so extreme because I have a huge family who loves me and wants to see me. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your mom and stepdad were abusive by allowing that to happen. I blame him way less. He could have left too, but my mom was supposed to be putting me and my safety first, but she didn't. My stepdad was an adult and could have probably done more, but Harry was his son, so I expect less. My mom has zero excuse though. Not the a-hole. Your mother is abusive and put her sexual wants before your emotional needs. She repeatedly chose Harry over you. She doesn't deserve a place in your life or your future children's life. She willingly forfeited that over a decade ago. Don't let your uncle guilt you. He did nothing to protect you either. She hasn't earned enough trust to ever be in my future kids' lives. All I know is she'd let them be bullied and expect them to come out loving her and the bully. You need to cut all contact honestly. It's clear she won't ever realize it's her and her husband's fault. Let Harry take care of them when they are older. My mom will be on her own so fast when that time comes. Harry hates her too. He never wanted his dad to marry my mom. I can't even feel bad for her because at least she'll be an adult with some way to plan, unlike me who was just a kid. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not making an effort to improve my relationship with my sister or caring if I get to know her unborn baby? I'm 23 female, the second youngest of 6 kids. It goes Bran, 31 male, Kat, 29 female, Jax, 27 male, Sam, 26 male, me and Leo, 22 male. My relationship with my brothers is solid. I'm closest with Leo and Jax, but have a great relationship with all my brothers, truly. But my relationship with my sister was always difficult, to say the least. Kat has been clear since we were kids that she didn't mind having brothers, but hated having a sister, and she took it out on me. When the rest of us wanted to play together, she'd join in, but ignore me. Whenever we split into teams, she refused to be on mine. If we went anywhere and had to buddy up, she'd cling to one of the boys and refuse to be mine. Our parents used to pay her and Bran extra allowance to take the rest of us to the park, and she'd completely ignore me and would tell Bran I was all his responsibility. Whenever one of our brothers needed help, she'd offer, but if it was me, she'd ignore a request for help. Vacations were so not fun because, as the only girls, we'd share a room and she hated that. Our parents told her she did not get to treat me like some contagious disease and told her to be nice. That we didn't need to be close, but there was zero excuse for making disgusted faces or getting mad at me for existing. Our parents had her in therapy too, and for a brief period, they tried to get us in family therapy with them. Whenever anyone would ask her what her problem was with me, she'd say she never wanted a sister. Bran used to tell her she was being a brat and hurting my feelings, but she told him straight that she didn't give a crap about my feelings. When I was bullied in middle school for not being as pretty as Kat, she actually looked so happy about it. That stuff started when she was like 18 or 19, and I was like 12 or 13. Even now, saying that sounds so weird, but she loved that other people thought she was better looking than me. When she'd come home from college and stuff, she'd ignore me. She brought souvenirs for our parents and brothers, but nothing for me. And come Christmas, she only got them gifts. Come my birthday, she never made the effort to call, send a card or anything, but she made the effort for all our brothers' birthdays and our parents' birthdays. I wasn't invited to her wedding. That turned into a huge fight. I told the rest of our family I wouldn't like to go now anyway. There was a lot of discussion about whether they should go, and I told them it was okay if they did go, and I didn't want them to regret not going on my behalf. They only went for the ceremony, and our parents refused to give her any money toward her wedding. I know they're still glad they went despite the issues. Whenever I see her, I still get the cold shoulder. Only now she's expecting her first kid, and the baby's due in a month. I was invited to her shower, but that wasn't directly from her. I chose not to go, nor send anything. When my parents found out, they told me it was a chance for me to try and improve the relationship so I could at least be in the baby's life. I said I don't need to be in the baby's life, and they said I should want to. I told them that I didn't really, and that was honest. Maybe if Kat and I were a little closer, but I don't see her kid or kids and I ever having much to do with each other. And I could see Kat poisoning them against me. Plus, a one-sided effort is not worth much anyway. My parents think I should try before I give up. They say she's about to grow now that she's becoming a mom. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Your parents are to blame. It was their job to handle this properly when you were born. They didn't. Kat was allowed to dig her heels in and obsess about this to the degree that it informed her personality to this extent. That's on them. The fact that they are now bullying you into letting her bully you more is disgraceful. Shame on them. I do hope that she doesn't have a daughter that she abuses. I had the same thought. If the kiddo is a boy, she's gonna be a creepy boy mom. And if the kiddo is a girl, that kid is in for a rough ride. Particularly since the kid's other parent clearly has no issue with an abuser as a partner. And at least the maternal grandparents, OP's parents, are willing to let this all slide. No, I can't see any reason for you to try to establish a relationship with your sister, whether it's for the sake of a possible relationship with her or for a relationship with her baby after it is born, or both. It all sounds like potential heartbreak, and you have had enough abuse and neglect from this poor excuse for a woman. You are an adult, and you are free to say no to your parents. Even if you weren't an adult, you'd have the right to stay away from your sister and her baby. There are many women who never grow up, whether they become mothers or not. We know this from hearing about so many narcissistic women who are mothers. I think of how heartbreaking it would be if you developed an attachment to the baby, and your sister continued her nastiness and eventually poisoned the child's mind as well. I think she'd do that too. There's no future where I see myself getting close to her child, and Kat not poisoning the child against me and being in their ear. I could see her encouraging rudeness and all kinds of things toward me. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife my childhood friend will never forgive her for what she did? My wife, 32 female, and I, 34 male, have been married for 6 years, together for 10. We have a 4-year-old son. A few years ago, my close childhood friend, 34 female, got married. We've been extremely close since we were kids. Both our families were dysfunctional in different ways. At one point, my dad cheated on my mom with her mom. They got married, divorced a year later, and we basically ended up abandoned by both sides. Through all that, we became really close with each other. She even has 2 tattoos that relate to our bond. I would have gotten a tattoo too, but I'm sort of scared of needles. My wife was actually close to my friend too, and never showed signs of being insecure about our friendship until postpartum hit. After our son was born, she really struggled. Her emotions were all over the place, and she became extremely insecure about my relationship with my friend. I was supposed to be man of honor at my friend's wedding, help plan things, and be a big part of the ceremony. But my wife was so anxious and uncomfortable, she begged me not to attend. It made me really sad, but I chose my wife. I told my friend I couldn't go and explained why. She was really hurt by it. Not angry, just really sad, but she said she understood. A couple of months later, my wife fully recovered and apologized, both to me and to my friend. I forgave her. My friend, however, didn't. When my wife reached out to my friend to apologize, my friend was polite but direct. She said she never wanted to speak to her again. She didn't yell or make a scene, she just drew a boundary. Honestly, I get it. It was a once-in-a-lifetime day, and she'd leaned on me for years, and I bailed. I still feel guilty about it. My friend and I still talk regularly. Nothing inappropriate. We're just close. Always have been. Recently, my wife asked if there was any chance my friend would forgive her. I told her the truth. No, that ship sailed. My wife got sort of quiet and looked sad and hasn't brought it up again, but I wonder if I was too blunt. Am I the a-hole for not giving my wife hope and just telling her forgiveness probably isn't happening? Asking out of genuine curiosity. How is this going to work? Is your bestie gonna skip all life milestones and celebrations on your end? Or is it expected that she will be there and your wife is uncomfortable? Is it safe to assume your bestie isn't involved in your child's life? I'm just trying to fully understand the situation. Surprisingly, it doesn't actually change too much. We've always had our own little way of celebrating milestones, just the two of us. For birthdays, promotions, or any personal wins. We usually do something simple but meaningful, like grabbing dinner at our favorite spot, exchanging gifts, or just spending a few hours catching up. That's always been our tradition, even before we had other people in our lives. Obviously, the bigger get-togethers with all 4 of us, me, my wife, her husband, won't be happening anymore. But those weren't really the core of our friendship. She's not involved in my child's life, and I'm not looking to be involved in her future kid's life either. We actually agreed a while back that keeping our friendship separate from family stuff was the healthiest way to go. Too many complications otherwise. And yeah, my wife and she used to hang out occasionally, but that part of things has naturally ended now. Admittedly, when I first read your reply, I thought you were referring to you and your wife having these intimate ways of celebrating together. Kind of warmed my heart. It was only after reading the replies that I realized you were talking about your friend. Kind of think that speaks for itself. Bro really answered, "How are you going to handle shared celebrations?" with "Easy, I'll just celebrate without my wife." I know he's probably saying he'll do 2 celebrations, but just the way he phrased that is so funny to me. Last story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to let my roommate's girlfriend move into our apartment without paying rent? So, I, 25 years old, live in a 2-bedroom apartment with my roommate, Jake, 26. We've been friends since college and split rent, utilities, and chores evenly. Our lease is month to month, and we've always had bills paid. The place stays clean, no drama. About 2 months ago, Jake started dating Sarah, 24, and she's been spending a lot of time at our place. Like, a lot. She's here 5 to 6 nights a week, uses our kitchen, bathroom, Netflix, you name it. I didn't mind at first because she's nice enough, and I figured it was just a honeymoon phase. Last week, Jake sat me down and said Sarah's lease is ending soon, and he wants her to move in with us. I was caught off guard but asked how we'd handle rent and bills. He said Sarah's between jobs and can't afford to chip in right now, but she'd help out with chores. Really? I pointed out that we already split chores evenly, and adding a third person means more mess, more utilities, and more strain on our small space. I suggested Sarah pay a third of the rent and utilities once she's employed, but Jake got defensive and said I was being petty and unsupportive. He argued that since she's his girlfriend, it's not like she's a stranger, and I should be cool with it because we're all friends here. Here's my side. I get that Sarah's in a tough spot, and I don't want to seem heartless. I've been unemployed before, and it sucks. But our apartment is tiny, shared bathroom, small kitchen, thin walls. Having a third person full-time would change the vibe, and I don't think it's fair for me to subsidize her living here. I pay $800 a month for my half of the rent plus utilities, and I budget carefully. If Sarah moves in without contributing, I'm essentially covering part of her costs, which doesn't sit right with me. I also feel like Jake's dismissing my concerns by framing it as me being unfriendly rather than practical. Jake sighed as he explained it. He says Sarah's only temporarily jobless and will make it up later. He thinks I'm overreacting because she's not some random tenant but his girlfriend, and I should trust she won't mooch forever. He also said I'm making a big deal out of nothing, since she's already here most of the time anyway. He pointed out that she's cooked dinner for us a couple of times, so she's contributing in her own way. The conversation ended with Jake saying I'm being unreasonable, and that I'm making Sarah feel unwelcome. Now things are tense, and Sarah's been avoiding me when she's over. I don't want to ruin my friendship with Jake, but I also don't think I should have to pay for someone else to live here. Am I the a-hole for putting my foot down? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Jake is welcome to support his girlfriend by paying her share until she's employed again. This, everything split 3 ways. If he wants to pay 66%, that's on him to decide. Things being split 3 ways doesn't change the fact that OP will be the third wheel in his own space. Practically, OP just has to move out and find a new roommate. It's a huge pain, but there isn't a better option. Not the a-hole. He's been dating her for 2 months, and now he wants her to live with you guys rent-free? Without even an agreement that she pay a third after she find a job? Honestly, still too generous. She may just never get another job. Nope. That's BS and possibly a violation of your lease to have her move in anyway. I feel her moving in fully makes her relax and not getting another job. Don't know if I make any sense, but I feel this will happen. That is exactly what happens. If you let her move in, it's split 3 ways from the start and boyfriend can fund it. Ask your roommate to consider how hard it will be to evict her if the relationship goes south. It's only been 2 months. I can't let it happen.